hear what I hear.
This week was so epic. Hiro had to deliver 2 chapters, and these were 2 of the hypest chapters of the year. Zeref basically turning into a god, Natsu and Mavis possibly being dead in this era. If you're not caught up, make sure to read the chapters straight from Japan with the correct translations at crunchyroll.com/soul. That link will be in the description, but let's get right back to the beginning with such a beautiful cover this week with everyone in new outfits. You got Natsu, Lucy, Erza, the whole gang. But what I found extremely beautiful and at the same time very saddening this week was the opening color panel of Mavis and Zeref at a completely different time, just so clearly in love with each other, just holding each other. And this side panel has this beautiful quote that reads, "Love was found within that world we live in, within those eyes that reflect you, within that soul that I hold so dearly." And looking back on their past, which is so significantly and intimately disheartening, as they embrace each other, it reads, "The world is ours." Making this so depressing that the way things turned out. But then Hiro takes us to a happier note, I guess, with NaLu sleeping alongside each other. You got Juvia, Gale, Mirror Axis, I think is what people call Axis and Mirror Jane. I don't know, but I'm on board with that ship regardless. And of course you got Erza in the next panel. But as the chapter begins, that happiness quickly fades. You know, because of the opening, something very profound between both Zeref and his former lover Mavis is coming. Natsu activates Dragon Force, speaks of his father Dragneel as scales begin to appear on his face, which all the more makes me think that there's a possibility that the new movie could be the ending, the total ending to FairyTail. But at the same time, I don't think Zeref and Acnologia will be in the movie, so it's still up in the air because I haven't seen them in the trailers. But Mavis interrupts the fighting that's going on, and just to show the contrast between their former love between Mavis and Zeref, and now there's a very horrible panel of Zeref holding her by the head like he's about to kill her, and Mavis pleads that she can save him, which had me so interested. Like, I was pretty excited to at least hear her plan, but we didn't even get the chance. Instead, we got some insight into Zeref's character that we've never seen before. The emotionless psychopath is actually doing all of this for one reason: love. Clearly he still feels something for Mavis, and brings about the notion that if he doesn't go back in time and do all this stuff, Acnologia will torture both he and Mavis for all eternity. They won't die, they'll only suffer. Even though he's about to hurt her, in his mind he thinks he's saving her. He activates Neo Eclipse or takes her fairy heart. Clearly Mavis is in extreme pain. He tries to explain that finally he'll be able to die and have a family, but really, the last thing that Zeref does is look right into Mavis's eyes. And he says, "If you don't meet me, you'll be happier. I'm sorry, Mavis." And then Zeref begins to cry. And seriously, in my opinion, I think Hiro wrote this part absolutely perfectly. He wrote Zeref's character so well. In Zeref's mind, all of this is for Mavis. I think a lot of people see Zeref as a psychopath villain and don't realize that this is a twisted love story. This is just about Mavis. And Mavis, on the other side of things, doesn't want Zeref to do all of this crazy shit because this is the world where they met each other. Mavis didn't say anything about Natsu, about FairyTail, about Makarov. She said nothing. She wants this world to exist for the time in which she met the person she loves, Zeref. I mean, it couldn't be any more obvious that there is a huge love story between these two characters. And then Mavis is not technically dead after Zeref takes the fairy heart, but basically she's completely out of it. And Zeref, as Zeref activates the fairy heart, he becomes a god. He went freaking Super Saiyan. He's decked out in white and flames. Zeref looks completely badass. Please, A1 Pictures, please, could you just animate this for me? I mean, it was a sick chapter, but I need this animated. And on to the second one of the week. Hiro clearly wanted to draw Lucy in a sexy yukata. Props to Hiro. Laxus reminds us that Makarov has died, and Lucy and Gray are passed out from opening the book of E.N.D, and they're waking up and they discover that Natsu and the book are connected with life bonding magic. Zeref again looks completely insane in all white while Natsu holds Mavis's lifeless body, and Natsu gets completely enraged and tries to wipe Zeref off the face of the earth basically, which Natsu succeeds in doing, but he also destroys the guild for the millionth time, apologizing for the master for it, apologizing to Makarov, but it doesn't matter because Zeref immediately regenerates, and just the moment, the badass moment in FairyTail that literally everyone is talking about right now, Zeref strikes Natsu straight through the chest, blood everywhere, and he says the line, "You didn't need to apologize to Makarov because he's already dead." And as Natsu falls to his death, beginning to cry, Zeref says, "I hope you meet him in heaven." How fucking sick is this villain? How badass was that? Like, those lines, "I hope you meet him in heaven?" He's already dead. Everything that happened with Mavis clearly sent Zeref somewhat into complete insanity. I mean, that was just so fucked up. And we see the white eyes in Natsu, which often signifies death in anime. Now, personally, I think everything revolves around Lucy. In the book, she is our beautiful main character. Everything has always revolved around Lucy's story. I think she will rewrite Natsu or add something to the pages to bring Natsu back. Unless the movie ends up being like non-canon or in a different time, Natsu has to come back, right? I mean, the movie comes out early next month. Either that or this is the end of Natsu and this era and time does reset, but I don't think so personally. I think that Lucy and Gray are going to figure this out. Lucy's going to save Natsu like she always does, that NaLu life. But you guys tell me, is Natsu really dead? Is that what you guys think? Is Mavis and Zeref being together in the end some sort of fantasy that will never happen? Will NaLu prevail as Lucy saves the one she loves? Will she save Natsu again? Let me know what you guys think in the comments, and talk to me on Twitter and Instagram at Soul_animation. And yeah, I'll be back to my second home, Japan, for a big part of this year. I'll be seeing the FairyTail movie in Japanese theaters next month. I can't freaking wait. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Jane.
Lucy.